questions that you have. We're sure you have lots of questions. And it's sort of still, things are still shifting around. So our understanding of the situation right now could change, but this is as best as we know it. So welcome everyone again, and we should probably just go around and introduce each other. Is this the first time everyone is seeing each other, Leslie? Right? Because I know some of you would probably remember some of you from the interviews, but then you were not all at the same interview. So I'm going to start, and then we'll have Leslie and Colleen, and then you guys can go through. So I'm Rajni Rao, and I'm a professor in the physiology department. And I work on mechanisms of ion transport, so calcium signaling, sodium and pH in endosomes and so on, and the context of cancer and a number of other disorders. And so I've been program director for maybe 10 years or so, with the very able help of our team. So it's Leslie and Colleen. So Leslie.
Hi, I'm Leslie. I hope you remember me. And what I work on is trying to, in this upside down world, make all of our lives a little smoother. Not successful every day, but if I get 3 out of 5 days a week, I'm feeling pretty good. Colleen?
I second that. I'm Colleen. Hello, everyone. Welcome. You may not remember me because I think I was always in the background when you guys were here for recruiting. So we're working on getting everything set up for you all to come. So that's what we'd like to discuss today. We're very excited that you're coming, and we're ready to get rolling.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead now? How should we do it? Can you see the participants on the right? I guess you guys are alphabetical. So there's Anna Gagne. Anna, do you want to introduce yourself? I saw you a minute ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there you
Here.
are. Hi.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anna. I'm biologist and also a psychologist. So I don't know if I need to say in which topic I work already.
Whatever you'd like. You could tell us where you are right now.
Oh, I'm a house. I work from here. I just attend some patients from Zoom. So I'm.
What country are you in?
Comfortable here. Excuse me?
What country are you in?
What kind of
Where are you? You're not in Baltimore.
No. I'm in Peru now.
Yes.
So yeah, so I'm having a little trouble to try to reach Baltimore now because the embassy is closed and there are no appointments yet. So well, I'm a little worried about that, but I'm still trying to contact them and try to go there on time. So that's all. Thank you.
Who's next? I see Ajay Vagasia.
Hi, I'm AJ Vagasia. I have been here in Baltimore for almost 16 years. I did my high school here, went to university at University of Maryland, Baltimore County campus. And then after that, I have been working in a lab here at Hopkins for almost 5 years. So been local, know things around here, and then want to continue pursuing a PhD here with CMM. So.
Other A's?
Anna Gagne?
You're muted, Anna.
Hi, sorry. Yeah, so I'm Anna. I work up in Boston at MGH currently. I went to college in Richmond, Virginia, and graduated 2 years ago, and I've been here ever since. Yeah.
Andrew Baker?
Are you in Boston now, Anna?
Yeah, so I'm in Boston currently. Like I'm at the hospital right now at work. Yeah.
Andrew?
Yeah, so my name's Andrew. I was in Boston for the last 3 years working at the Broad Institute, but I recently left and I'm spending 2 months now in Texas with my family. So I'm excited to get to Baltimore soon.
Great. Blair?
Hi everybody. I recently just graduated from UMBC, so not too far away. I studied chemical engineering, but I was more in like an immunology like engineering lab and worked a lot with like 3D cell culture.
Brianna?
Hey everyone, I'm Bree. I've been a Baltimore local my entire life. Usually started in the county, but my boyfriend and I just moved to the city. So Fed Hill city life is super different than living in the woods. But I also am super familiar with the area. So if anybody has questions about like neighborhoods or stuff to do, even not in the city or just even in local states or surrounding states, just let me know. Currently, I'm also working at Hopkins, doing a lot of 10x genomics and single cell RNA-seq kind of stuff, but have been home for the past 5 months. So that's me.
Thank you. Caroline?
Hey everyone, I'm Caroline. I'm currently in Baltimore. I finished up a master's of science in public health. I guess it was May now. And I'm currently studying for my registered dietitian exam. So it was a dual degree clinical public health program. So looking forward to meeting you all in person someday.
Darla?
Hi everyone, my name is Darla. I am currently in Biddeford, Maine. But beforehand, I was in New Haven, Connecticut, doing a post-bac program for a little bit. And then even before that, I was a research assistant in Boston. So I've been all around New England and excited to go to a different city and move kind of further south, the East Coast.
Excellent.
Elena?
Hi everyone, my name is Ileana Leslie.
Sorry.
It's okay. I've been at Hopkins for 5 years. I did my undergrad here, my master's as well, and I'm in a postbac program, which we just finished, basically. So I'm in the Robinson lab, and so just finishing up there before grad school starts.
Great. Hope?
Hey guys, I'm Hope. I am from Minnesota, but right now I'm living in Michigan. I'm working as a lab tech at Van Andel Institute, and I work on a lot of post-translational modifications in the context of cancer right now, but we'll see where things go. But I'm excited to get there.
Terrific. Jessica.
Hi everyone, I'm Jessica. I'm from California. I recently graduated from UCLA, so I've been taking 2 months to take a break before heading over to Baltimore.
Right. Julia.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm from Delaware. I went to University of Delaware and graduated in 2018. I'm currently up at the University of Pennsylvania working in the gene therapy program in the Wilson lab.
Caitlin.
Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin. I'm currently in Baltimore. I'm actually in my dedicated period for step 1 right now. I'm one of the MD PhDs here. I'm from Grand Rapids though. Actually, Hope, you mentioned Van Andel. My dad works there. I was not expecting to meet someone who works at Van Andel.
That's great. Kevin.
Hey, good to see some of you who I met already. Nice to meet the rest of you. I'm Kevin. I'm up in Cambridge, Mass. currently. Sitting at home. I got the afternoons off now. We're doing kind of morning shifts, so I have the 7 to 12 shift right now at work. I've been up here working at a company for the last 4 or 5 years. Excited to get back into academia a little bit. See you guys soon.
Lana. Lana? Yep, hear you. Lana, you're muted.
Lana, you're muted.
There.
It might be the microphone. The microphone's up really high. Maybe if you bring it down closer to your.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear? Oh,
Now you can go.
Okay. Okay. So Lana, I'm at home right now in Boston and working in Cambridge, and interested in studying cutaneous inflammation.
Terrific. Luke?
Hey, I'm Luke. I'm in Seattle right now. I've been here for about 3 or 4 years, I guess. Most of that was working for Seattle Genetics, which is a biotech company, doing like protein engineering, drug development. But the past maybe year or so, I've been where I currently am right now at the Allen Institute for Brain Science. So I'm looking forward to meeting everybody.
Natalie. Natalie Castell.
I was about to ask which Natalie. I'm Natalie Castell. I'm originally from Texas. Currently living in Baltimore for about the past year, working on my lab animal residency. As of the start of July, I'm done with my clinical period, so I'm looking forward to joining all of you in class soon.
And Natalie Rutkowski.
Yeah, so Natalie 2.0. Hi, everyone. I'm currently also in Baltimore. I've been here for 2 years doing a post-bac. I did my undergrad in Chicago, and that's where my family is as well. Hopefully, I can get out there before the school year starts, but we'll see. But yeah, excited to meet everybody.
Thomas?
Hello, I'm Thomas. I am another of the MD PhD students here. But currently, unlike Caitlin, who's in step 1 study time, I'm working in the Calabresi lab. So neuroimmunology with a model of multiple sclerosis. I'm also very excited to meet everybody here.
And Zeal.
Hi everyone, I'm Zeal. I am currently at work at Thomas Jefferson. I'm in Philadelphia, but I live in New Jersey. And I'm excited to meet you all in person soon.
Anybody we missed? I don't think we missed anybody.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to start off by giving you a very brief snapshot of what is going on in Maryland and Hopkins regarding the whole COVID issue. And so many of you are here already, but for those of you who are not from Baltimore, this might give you some perspective. So as you guys know, back in maybe mid-March, we started our lockdown. And I guess at CMM, we're very proud that we essentially only missed 1 class. And we very quickly came together and offered our classes online. And so our current first years, soon to be second years, were absolutely fabulous. They really took to this different mode of instruction. They did really well. They were very engaged. So we've had small group discussions, we've had lectures. So starting out, all lab presence was sort of cut down unless one was essential personnel. And first year students were not essential personnel. So if you guys come on board, you probably also won't be listed as essential personnel in the event we do go back to lockdown, okay? Hopkins was essentially shut down, and only people on this list, maybe 3 people per lab maximum, were allowed to come in. So this went on for a while, and then about how far back? Maybe a month ago, Leslie or Colleen? I don't remember.
June 15th.
June 15th, yeah. We started a very slow phased reopening in Maryland as well as within Hopkins. So for those of you who have not been tracking, Maryland is, I would say, not that bad in terms of how severe the virus has been. We did have a peak. We've come back down. We are unfortunately not all the way down. It looks like we're kind of at a kind of low plateau. We average somewhere around 500 new cases a day. But I will say that Hopkins and for most area hospitals, we have not run out of ICU space. We have been well within our scope in terms of handling COVID patients. And overall, I think it's been, you know, far better than many other parts of the country. That said, we still have to be very careful. And so, as I mentioned, the situation is constantly changing. We expect that there will be some more announcements next week, and we'll keep you updated. So back about a month ago, we started a phased reopening. That has gone very well. It was done in a very organized way, just as the shutdown also was an extremely organized step-by-step process. So what we have currently, I think as many of you have at wherever you are working right now, we have sort of people working in labs in shifts with lots of spaces. Currently, it's about 400 square feet or so, so maybe every other lab bench is open. We have an app that keeps track of the density of people going in and out so that there aren't people who are too crowded in a lab at any time. And of course, you know, we expect it's going to take a while to ramp up to where we were before. So right now, the scope of what we do is kind of more limited. But that being said, the animal facilities are up and running. I think our core store is opening. All the other facilities, the microscope, the flow cytometry, all the other cores are open, but you know, with special safeguards in place. So given all of that, what we have decided at CMM is to offer what we call a hybrid program. So it's not going to be entirely online as it was back in March, but it's going to be largely online with the exception of certain courses and of course lab rotations. We do think it's important for you all to start working in the lab, even if it is extremely limited, even if the projects are limited in scope, because we know that time is passing. You have 1 year essentially to find a home, you know, to find a thesis lab before you can really get started. So we really don't want you to lose a year and to really have too much of a setback in that. All our faculty are aware that the rotations are going to be different, that there's going to be, you know, maybe, you know, as all of us have been doing lab meetings online, you know, interactions sort of not in close contact, plenty of PPE and masks and all of that sort of stuff. So we all understand that, and I think pretty much everyone is on board. So we will be going through in a short while the first year curriculum. You'll get a lot more information when you do come during orientation, but I wanted to give you all just a brief flavor of what to expect in your first year. But Colleen, did you want to get started on the onboarding documentation that you absolutely need? Okay.
Before we do that, we have one of our MDs has joined. Ryan is with us, and maybe she could introduce herself.
Hi there, sorry I'm late. This is Rian. I'm one of the current first year pediatric oncology fellows, and excited to meet you guys.
Awesome, thank you for coming.
Sure, thank you.
Excellent. Yes, so I will start the onboarding process. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I do want you to know that there are certain things that have to be you have to present information to us so that I can start your payroll, and that's important, and you will get paid. on August 31st, which is your first day of class. And that is the day that you are required to be here. So we start paying you from that moment on. And you're, so in order to get paid, there is something called an I-9 document that needs to be done. And I will be sending much more detailed information later, but I just wanted you to let you know that there are certain things that have to be done. And that's one of them to get onboarded. The other thing that we will be asking for is your prior research experience, because most of you will be put on our training grant, and we need to report that to the NIH every year in our documentation that we send to them. So we're going to be sending you a form that we need you to fill out and return to us so we can keep all of that data. The other thing that we're going to be requiring and asking you to set up, if you have not already done so, is an ORC ID, which is a unique identifier for you and your future, either your prior publications and or your future publications. It's a mechanism that tracks, that puts all of your pubs together. And we are learning that many journals now are requiring you to have an ORC ID as you submit. So we're just going to get it out of the way right off the bat, so everything's taken care of. And the other thing is that I'm going to be doing all of this onboarding process through our new student database called New Innovations. So I will be sending you the onboarding profile through that particular database that the School of Medicine uses. It's been in operation for a couple of years now, and it's a really nice system that really keeps track of your entire academic career here. There are, all of your courses will show up there that you've ever taken. Of course, it has demographic information in it as well, but it also has a section for you to note any scholarly activity that you do throughout your career, going to meetings, going to conferences, publications, all of those types of activities. So it's a database that the university uses, and we need to be in compliance with using things that the university's asked us to do. So those are I just briefly wanted to touch on those kind of documents, and there will be a time frame. I will need them back by the 14th of August. So I will be sending them to you this week, so you have plenty of time to get them done. Okay. You can always contact us if you have any questions. Contact me if you have any questions.
Yeah, any questions for Colleen about any of this?
Okay. There are some of you that are already here. I will note, I will be sending you separate documentation because I do need to know when your last day of hire is if you're currently being paid at Hopkins. So I will be in separate communication with you about that. Thank you.
Okay. So shall we get started on the calendar?
Sure. Let me share
my. So Colleen is going to share the calendar, and just so you guys know, there are a couple different tracks. There are the majority of you who are going to be doing a straight PhD, right? So you're coming in, you're going to do your PhD through CMM, but we have some students who are doing a dual degree, because they're doing an MD and a PhD. And then we have some students who already have a graduate degree, so it could be an MD or a DVM, and they're going to be pursuing a PhD. So for those other students, some of the coursework turns out to be redundant because they've already done anatomy and human physiology. So you will be seeing a slightly different calendar for that, but Colleen is going to point that out as we go along. So first day of class is August 31st, a Monday. Okay. All right. So Colleen, do you want to explain how this is set up?
Sure. If I can hit the right button here. Doesn't seem to be there.
There you go.
So as you can see, where my arrow is, the little orange dot, That's for the MD, that class, immunology, and it has a two-part to it. It's called Principles of Immunology, and there's also a Topics in Immunology. Anything with the orange dot will be for the MDs and the DVMs and the clinical fellows. That's their track.
So if I can interrupt, those of you who are on the straight PhD, the PhD track, you will be taking those courses in your second year. Okay?
Correct. So the PhD track students will be starting with the human body course, which is typically every day of the week, and we've scheduled it from 9 to 12, and the course is divided into 3 sections. So there's an anatomy component, a histology component, and a physiology component. So there'll always be an anatomy lecture, a physiology lecture, and a histology lecture. So the lectures, so when we say hybrid, this course is going to have, the lectures are most likely going to be offered through Zoom. However, I do have a classroom reserved, so in the event that things change and get better, and or any faculty wants to actually give the lecture in person, they will have an opportunity to do that. The histology lab, the anatomy lab will be held on Tuesdays, and that is in person with cadavers, and we will divide the class into 2 different groups because the room has, whilst we follow all the new guidelines, the room has a smaller capacity. So we've got it set up so that everybody will have the proper PPE, and there'll be 4 people around a cadaver as Dr. Rini teaches that particular part of the class. And that is a very exciting class. We're really looking forward to it. It's about 8 or 9 weeks long, and it is, our classes are different this year in that you're only taking 1 core course at a time. And you will also be starting what we call core discussion, which is a once a week journal type class. And Rajni, did you want to add anything else about core discussion?
Yeah. So what I can add to what Colleen is saying is, in addition to all of this COVID calamity, we've also had a new calendar introduced to us. And so there have been curriculum changes because of the new calendar that Hopkins Central Administration, introduced to us. So, and this may actually turn out well for you, because now you will be essentially taking only 1 course at a time. So you don't have to multitask, you just have to focus on 1 course. When that course is over, you start another course, and so on, right? So your coursework is going to extend through your first year. And we're going to get to the rotations and the other things as well. But the human body course, when that is going on, you are actually not going to be doing lab rotations, because when we bring you into the program, everything is new. We want you to focus on getting settled in Baltimore, getting settled in at Hopkins, and to give you plenty of time to line up your rotations. Somebody asked a question, I think maybe it was Bree, if you should be contacting faculty. Please don't contact them now. You will contact them after you matriculate into Hopkins, so you have plenty of time for that. So this first month that you're looking at, it will essentially be human body. What you're going to see here is called topics. Do you see that? How many topics are they? Tuesday, Monday, and Thursday? Colleen?
It's Monday, Thursday, Friday, typically.
Okay. So what that is are a series of short talks that CMM faculty will be giving to introduce their research to you, so you can put a name and a face together, and it's very informal. They'll talk about what rotation projects are available. It's only to your group, and you essentially get some ideas about whom to contact and approach for setting up a lab rotation. So you have the human body course going on, you have these topic sessions, and then you have on Wednesdays, pretty much through the first year, this discussion series, right? So we're going to start off by doing basic science papers. So these will be papers that are selected by our faculty, that maybe they feel they're cutting edge, maybe they are interested in highlighting a particular techniques. So they're going to be adding value to the curriculum that you have going on, the lecture-based curriculum. And you guys will pair up and present the paper. So you're going to, each of you are going to have, is it one rotation, Colleen, generally? Okay. So you will all have one chance of presenting to the group as part of a pair, and you will get the paper ahead of time, meet with the faculty ahead of time, the faculty who selected the paper, go over the paper, cover anything that you might need help with, and then you actually set up this discussion, and then the rest of the class participates, and they write a little one-page summary of the paper as well that you guys get to look at. And essentially and then the faculty member who chose the paper will be there as well, but they're not going to be lecturing or taking over. They're just going to be there as a resource. So the first part of the year we'll run through all of you guys, do a bunch of basic science papers, and then we're going to have a series on rigor and reproducibility. Those will be more like panels led by faculty talking about the issues of rigor and reproducibility in science. And then the very last set on the same Wednesday series of discussions are going to be clinical papers, and those will match up to a different course that we'll come to in a bit about how clinical research is done. So you're going to get basic science, rigor and reproducibility, and clinical science through that Wednesday session throughout the first year. Any questions about that?
I have a quick question. So I noticed the core discussions doesn't have an orange square to this. Do the MDs and the dual degree program people still go to those?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, most definitely, yeah. Okay, so Colleen, do you want to pick up?
Sure. So we've gone through, so now we're in the month of October. So as you can see, we're still in the human body, we're still in topics, and we still have core discussion. So we have not set, we will be having you start rotations probably sometime in early October, maybe mid-October, so that we've given you at least a good month of you being acclimated to Baltimore and getting in the routine of school. And then we move into the month of November, and when, as you can see here, human body will end on, if I can find my little pointer here.
Looks like it's on the 4th Wednesday.
Yeah. Human body ends here on Wednesday, the 4th of November, and on Thursday, the 5th, you pick up molecular biology. So this is where we were saying it's typically one core course at a time. The Mol Bio is then going to be every day. It's going to run every day except Wednesday. So it will be Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And that course will, I believe, as we keep going down into the month of December, let me get out of this and, no, sorry about that. We end up, here we go. Come on now.
So I'm looking at a question in the chat. Absolutely, we will have Pollard Scholars available for all our courses.
Okay.
And for those of you who don't know, these are upper class students who serve as TAs for all of our courses. They usually run sessions, what is it, once a week?
Yes.
How many sessions do they have on whatever course is running? We strongly encourage everybody attend these sessions. You can ask questions. They will sort of go through things that are confusing or maybe old problem sets or whatever. And they're really helpful in getting you to, succeed in a course. So we will be having Pollard Scholars throughout the first year.
Correct. For all of the core courses. And then MolBio is when MolBio ends, as you can see here, it ends on the 11th of December. And then genetics picks up. So genetics is going to be broken up into 2 sections before winter break and then after winter break. So winter break, we have 2 weeks, about that or so. So classes resume then on January the 4th. And this is where, if we go back here, our Rajni had alluded to the core discussion being broken up into different 3 sections. So the reproducibility part starts in December, and it ends before winter break. Excuse me, wrong. I haven't looked at this in a while. It looks like it ends at the end of January. And then genetics, again, is one of those Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday classes. And at that time, the only other CMM course that you would be having would be the core discussion class. And once genetics ends on the 22nd of January, you pick up the cell structure, and that class then, let's see, where does that runs through, looks like it's the 18th of February. So there's 4 courses that are that run Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and those would be molecular biology, genetics, cell structure, and pathways. And then our CMM courses are put in place usually on Wednesdays, which is our clinical research class. So that's the intro to clinical research, where we teach you all about what it takes, the different types of study designs that are involved in clinical research. And then there's a project, we have you do a project. And this year they did a project on COVID-19, which was really amazing. They did a great job. So that is, Rajni, if you want to address the topic, that like cell structure, what that.
Yeah, so if you've been following so far, hopefully it's not been too confusing. So let's recap. We start with a course that is only for CMM students, that's the human body. And then we have a set of 4 basic science courses that are always going to be from 9 to 10:30 in the morning, Monday, Tuesday, break on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Those you're going to be taking with graduate students from many different graduate programs. Okay, so these will be larger courses. And when that's run, we go back to CMM only courses, and there are going to be 2 of them. One will be called Introduction to Clinical Research, where you're going to learn how you can translate discoveries at the bench to take it to the clinic. And then there's another course called Cellular and Molecular Basis of Disease, where we talk about the mechanistic basis of disease, but then and its application in the clinic. So most of those lectures are taught by people who do research on a particular topic in their labs and also see patients in the clinic as well. So So the whole year then has a sort of bookended with CMM courses, the human body, which is, human body in health, and then at the end, the human body in, under a disease condition, with the basic sciences sandwiched in between, right? So that sort of stretches most of the first year. And then, as I mentioned, throughout the year, in the Wednesdays when you're going to be having these small group discussions, again, those are only CMM students. And then rotations start somewhere in October, but then they're going to continue through the end of the academic year. You're going to have 3 rotations. How many weeks are they? 8, 10?
Yes, 8 to 10, depending on where holidays fall.
Right. And so, we want to make sure you have plenty of time to choose your rotations and consider all your options. So each of you are going to be assigned a rotation advisor who will meet with you, I guess, virtually now, and talk about your options and talk about what kind of environment you like to work in, and sort of help you identify a lab that we hope you will thrive in. So you have your rotation advisors helping you. You're going to have these topics, which are these short faculty talks, which will also help. And then we encourage you at the time, then once you're here at Hopkins, to reach out to individual faculty, okay? So you can send them an email and say, hey, this is who I am. They will be expecting to hear from you. And then you set up a meeting virtually now, I guess, again, and talk about projects and how it's going to be set up, with the understanding that the scope is going to be different. You might have to work in shifts. You might have, shorter hours. You might be, be socially distanced. You're going to have to wear masks, all of that. But, those rotations then will go throughout, to all three of them. And in between the first 2, you will have an opportunity to present your findings to the rest of the group. Just talk about what you did. And at the end of the 3rd one, hopefully by then you would have found your lab, your thesis home. And if not, no worries. This year, for example, because of the confusion, some of our students, a few of them, a handful, are still doing their rotations, so you can stretch it out over the summer. But generally, the expectation is by August, you will be in a lab, usually well before that. Usually by the end of June, you found your thesis lab. Any questions about that whole first year setup? And did I miss anything, at least in terms of the core curriculum?
No, we didn't miss anything. That's the calendar has the courses. We're certainly working on those, and as this is such a very fluid situation, things are subject to change. We are certainly hoping by the spring that we will be holding more classes in person, but that is to be determined. We will be following all the university's rules and guidelines regarding the human body class being in the lab. We have to break you up into smaller groups than we normally would because of the constraints, but it's still a very exciting class, and Dr. Rini is very excited about all of you coming. So if anybody has any questions,
So there's a question from Hope. Is the Tuesday cadaver lab for human body the only in-class lab? That's the one that everyone is expected to attend in person, but we can't discount, we could offer more in-person classes for those of you who want to be in person. So, for example, if I'm giving a lecture in the human body course, and if I'm comfortable doing that, I could do it in the West Lecture Hall, which is a very large auditorium, plenty of space for our class to spread out there. I could do it in person. Those of you who want to sit in person and hear me give my talk can do so, but we expect that we will simultaneously put it online as well, synchronously. And so another subset of you might decide, well, you're just going to be listening to me from home. Okay?
Can I add
That's
something?
at least that's how I envision it. I hope we should be able to set that up.
Can I add something there that you said that was really important, that the CMM classes are all going to be given in synchronicity, meaning we're not recording them for you to see later. You have to be present in real time. That's we need you to interact with your group and the classes only work with everybody interacting. That's the CMM classes that are going to be that way. Many of our classes are just pass-fail, not human body, but many of our other classes are pass-fail. So your attendance is the basis, a large part of the basis of that. So, you know, that's why it's the schedule. We will have the schedule firmed up by the time school starts, but it's important to know that we expect to see you there. Hopefully, everybody will be able to show your face like now. It's really hard for the faculty to lecture to the black screen. They might be getting better at it, but it's pretty frustrating for them. There's any questions?
I have a question along those lines. Will there be other places on campus that are, I guess, accessible if a professor doesn't feel comfortable lecturing in person? Like, I personally would love to come in. I'm very distracted at home, but I don't know if there's like libraries or other just study rooms or like grad student lounges that we can do work or study or kind of like listen to the lecture in real time, just not from home.
Yes, I can answer that. Yes, I am, any of the courses that I schedule an actual location for. Okay. So I have a room reserved for each of those classes. So for instance, for human body, you can certainly go to the West Lecture Hall. It can only, it now has only been assigned to have to be able to have 23 people in the room at the same time because of the new restrictions. But that room will be available every day that there is class. And in fact, the way the labs will work, the cadaver lab will work, is that we will be breaking you up into groups. So the lab is only held on one day. So one group goes up at a time and the other group stays in the lecture hall until it's time for your group to go up to the second floor for the actual lab. So yes, the library is beginning to open. I just recently saw that. I'm sure that we will have more guidelines as to what rooms are open. I was on campus on Friday. I hadn't been there since March, and everything is very well marked. If there are 4 chairs around, you can only sit in the outer ones, and the 2 in the center are restricted. So they've done a very good job of making sure, you know, where we do have rooms available and how many people can be in each room.
Yeah, and Bree, don't forget that, you know, you will be, aside from that first month and a half or so, the rest of the year you will be associated with the lab. And so you're going to have spaces, common spaces as part of that department. They may have lunch rooms, they may have break rooms, your own desk, right? Maybe a place where you can go and hang out. So there are plenty of spaces around, but with very sort of clear guidelines on how many people could be allowed in a room at any time. But you know, this place is vast, right? So you're going to discover all sorts of wonderful places where you can hang out and you know, focus on whatever you need to learn. Okay,
perfect. And then small other question. The only day, so I noticed that for all of the holidays, they were all marked off as like university holidays, like that you have off. Is Labor Day one of the recognized holidays, or do we have class that day?
No, Labor Day, I was not able to, that was a mistake. I was not able to change that. Labor Day is an official holiday and there is no class on Labor Day.
Because that's my birthday. But anyway.
Oh. So when I actually get the courses scheduled, as I said, we will definitely stay in contact with you as soon as I have a definitive human body class schedule with professors, I will make that available to you all, for sure. I'm in process now.
So
And it will actually denote if someone is giving the lecture in the lecture hall. I will try to make sure that the schedule shows that it will be an in-person lecture. At this point, I don't know, what my faculty, what their preference is going to be, but I'm going to encourage them to come in and give the lecture in person if they are comfortable doing that.
So we appreciate how challenging this is and how important it is to have your cohort feel part of CMM and each other. So we're trying to do everything to facilitate a good experience, the best experience we can. Hopkins is really trying hard and supportive of the students in so many ways, and at the same time keeping everybody healthy. The upper class students are working on their ideas, which we don't know yet, of how to help integrate you into the program. And what you need to remember is, as Colleen and I are, hard to say, non-essential, and how much we will be in the office is not sure, but we will be in our virtual offices, and it is still an open door policy at CMM. Rajni, Bob, Colleen, and I are always available, and this is a challenging time, and you should stay in touch with us. There's often misinformation that comes around, and when it comes back to us, we're like, where did that come from? So, and the university is very good right now at informing the programs about the policies and what's going on up to the minute. Last week, they immediately had a meeting with the international office with all the programs. So they try to keep us really informed. So there is no question that's too small to ask us, because we are still here for you all the time. So we will keep reminding you that, but we really, truly, all of us have an open door policy, and you shouldn't hesitate to talk to us about good things, bad things, new cats, whatever, new dogs. Rajni has a lot of pictures now. But, it's important right now, and we will probably have more Zooms just so we can talk and you can start to feel more comfortable in this atmosphere, and we're going to make it as great an experience as CMM has always been.
We will also be giving you some COVID-related information, right, on what to do. There will always be a number to call if you are concerned about your health, if you feel like you have any symptoms. And we have very explicit directions on what to do and what the lab does and how that information, is handled. Oddly enough, there are no quarantine requirements. So some of you are coming from out of state, and we can still try and clarify it. But as far as we know, there is no expectation for you to quarantine yourself. So,
but that, if I can interrupt, but that's not to say that could absolutely change.
Yeah. Okay. So we will update you on that, right? So you move to Baltimore. If you're not here already, get familiar with the location that you're in. Contact us. We will get in touch with you, and we'll explain to you how to get your ID taken when you get on campus. There are restrictions on how many of you can be here at a time, and in particular rooms. So we'll give you that information as well.
There was a discussion last week in one of our meetings about, and which this is one of the things you might hear from students from other programs, that initially not everybody is going to be given an ID badge and access to the campus, but because you start on campus on your class on August 31st, all of CMM students will have ID badges to be able to get onto campus for classes. So you're going to be different from other programs. Some of the programs are not starting their students on campus till January. And we all have struggled in how to make it work best for the students. So ask questions.
The shuttle buses will be running but with a more limited capacity for those of you. Do we still have the lift service? Yeah. Good.
We don't know for sure. I think so, but I'm not sure.
We have it. Yeah, we have it. Yeah.
Do we? Thank you.
Yeah, it's been replenished every month this summer for me, including July 1st. So we still have it.
Great.
So could you explain to the rest of the group what this is? I've never taken it myself.
Sure. So the Safe Ride program, have you guys gotten like a brochure about that or something like that? Anything? No? So the Safe Ride program, it's actually really nice. So Hopkins gives you like $300 and some odd every month to take Lyft rides. And it's between Hopkins campus, so the East Baltimore campus, and anything within 2 miles of that radius. So you have to start in the outer radius and finish in the inner radius, or vice versa. So I don't know when they get sign-up links for that. I think it's probably $350 a month. Thank you. So it might be a little bit different for graduate school programs, but for medical school programs, we like got an email and signed up through that.
I suspect they will be finding out at orientation when they get the packet of. Have you? First of all, let me ask you all a question. Have you received a packet of information from the School of Medicine registrar yet? Okay, no. That will be going out soon, and that talks about documents that you need to fill out and return to them, things that you are required to do before you can matriculate. And I will find out when they're going to send it out and send you all an email to let you know. So speaking of emails, Leslie and I are really only want to communicate with you through your Hopkins email address. So so if they've not,
they can go on. I don't know if any of you have done it yet. I think you can go on and when you sign into JED, I don't know if they can do it yet.
We got that information. So we have our Hopkins emails.
Do you? Okay, great.
Yeah.
So I'm going to send an email either later today or tomorrow out to everybody through the Hopkins email address. And that way you can respond to me and we know that it's working for everybody. And then we use only your Hopkins email addresses once we're confirmed that everybody has it. There's a lot of things that Colleen and I this time of year need to send out to you. And they'll only go out through the Hopkins email. It makes it more consistent for us. And we always, through your whole career at Hopkins, in the graduate program, use your JED ID.
So I just have a quick question.
People who live outside of that radius. I don't think, Caitlin, maybe you know some more, but I think.
Yeah, technically when you sign up, you're supposed to give them your address, and if you don't live within the 2 mile radius, you don't get it, I believe. Unfortunately.
Zeal, you had a question?
Yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, the School of Medicine orientation on the 27th is online. Is the CMM orientation also online?
Yes.
Okay.
We are anticipating it to be online, which would be the next day, the 28th. Again, we're sort of hoping and waiting to see how things will be, and we may end up making that. We may make it in person if we can do that, but we're gonna, at this point, we're saying it's going to be virtual unless you hear from us differently. Because normally
the lift times are from 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. That's important. It's not all day long. It's 5 p.m.
Yeah, it used to be all day long, and there was no outer radius really, and that became a problem.
Right.
Okay. So, does anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah. So because I moved out of Boston only a couple of weeks ago or months ago, can I verify where they're going to mail that packet with those forms and information?
Sure. I think Leslie, you got all of their email addresses, or excuse me, all of their mailing addresses. So, Andrew, if you want to, we'll send you an email and you can send us your address back, and we'll make sure that it goes to the correct location for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah.
So have you received any communication at all from the School of Medicine registrar? So if you have your email addresses, you must have gotten something from them. Is that correct?
So they sent us our benefits information about when it's going to start and if you want to sign anybody else onto your plan.
Okay, so benefits start on September the 1st, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Okay.
Somebody had written to me and asked for support for leasing an apartment, and we have an email letter that we can send you. So if you're looking at apartments or whatever you're housing and you need proof that you are in the CMM program and have a guaranteed stipend, just email me and I will send it to you.
And also, I just want to mention quickly, a lot of apartments in the area do have Hopkins discounts, and they won't apply them unless you ask for them. So just make sure to ask for them.
Good tip, Caitlin. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah, everything you do,
sharing.
You'll start waving your Hopkins badge. You get discounts in all kinds of places with your Hopkins badge. So Baltimore City was tight for a very long time, even tighter than the county surrounding it, but the city's opening up more as the state is, and at least in the hot months, they've closed down streets in Fells Point so you can eat outdoors at restaurants, you know, but the governor is very wisely has listened to the doctors from Hopkins. He will tell everybody that, and that's why our numbers are so good here, because he's listened to the best advice he can get on any given day. And he and his wife, who is South Korean, made a fantastic deal with the Korean government and got all kinds of PPEs for Maryland, for Hopkins, but all of Maryland, and they are keeping them in a secret site that they will not let anybody know where it is, so nobody in the administration in DC can take our PPEs. So I think if Maryland needs more PPEs, the Korean government will help us.
Yeah, and we are looking into getting face shields for everyone. Right, Kali?
Yes, I did. Good point, Rajni. Yes, for the human body course, for the lab, everyone will have 2 face shields for the duration of the course. They can be reused, so that's why we're going to be giving you 2. So hopefully they will last for those 9 weeks of the class. Everyone will be required to wear an apron when you're having the lab, as well as a face mask. So we will provide all of that PPE for you and gloves for the lab. But when you are on campus at any point, we are under a wear masks at all times in any location, unless you are in a private office with the door closed. Was the only time we don't have to wear a mask. So we will all be wearing masks, and hopefully we can start blinking them up, and they'll be matching our outfits at some point. But yeah, that is the requirement right now at Hopkins.
So there's a question about the ProDensity app. So this is an app that was generated that you could, so you install this on your smartphone and you swipe in and out, and it's not transmitting GPS information about your location, but it is simply a kind of in and out code, right? So it only makes a note. It's kind of like our badges. You know, we have a little magnetic stripe on our badge, and when we swipe in and out of the main entrances or into a garage, kind of tracks that you're going in and out. So the ProDensity app is not for CMM as such, but it's for anyone, and we will probably
everybody's going to get one. They said that during orientation, when that's one of the things all the students in the graduate program.
Yeah, so it's just something you download from somewhere, and it just helps. But they are changing the density guidelines maybe, and we'll give you all that updated information. We're expecting to hear something this week.
Yeah, that last meeting that we were in last week, as far as the registrar at matriculation, every student will be added to the Prodensity app. Everybody will get it. So that's what they told us last week. Again, everything is subject to change. So we will definitely keep you updated.
The other business that's really important is we have already registered all of you for all your classes. So for the whole year. So you're covered right now. You will get a copy of those, but basically what's on this paper is you're registered for. So that's all taken care of. You don't have to worry about that.
Leslie, you had some more information that you wanted to mention. Are you going to?
Well, I'll send you in the email with your Hopkins address. There's information that we need that there'll be a form. I'm trying to do it in a form. So when you fill out the form and close it, it will automatically come to me. We'll see if this works. You're my first test. I am working really hard on being able to use the virtual world to make our lives easier. So we'll see if this one works. And if it is, it'll be easier for you to give us information and for us to capturing it and feeding it right into our system. So, and one of the things is when I'm going to start doing your pages on the website, I will be using the picture you sent me before you interviewed. So if you want a different picture, that's fine. Just when you answer the email, you can just, whatever picture you want, I will put it up there on your page on the website. When Rajni said, when we were talking about rotations, we will assign you a rotation advisor. And please, the faculty, we will be polling them to see who is available for rotations. They don't know yet. They're still opening their labs. So when Rajni said don't ask them now, they're really not, it's not clear yet how people are going to open and what their restrictions are going to be and their space. We will know within the month or so. So by the time you get here and start meeting with your rotation advisor, we will have a good list of CMM faculty who are available for rotations. And don't worry, you will have a great rotation. We will make sure that the rules don't change about you finding the right lab ultimately. We will help you do that.
Yeah, when it comes down to Leslie and I have a when you're making your final determination as to what thesis lab you're joining, we never allow you to settle. So if you come to a point where you're not sure you had all 3 good rotations and you aren't sure, we can definitely, there's always a twinkle in your eye and a spark in your voice that we kind of, even if you don't know the answer of the lab, we kind of help you through it. But we will never let you pick a rotation or a thesis home that's not a perfect fit for you. That's just part of our
yeah. There's a question in chat about the cadavers. So if they're screened, we can get an official answer from Dr. Rini, who handles the cadavers, about this. I'm pretty sure that the cadavers that we would have would be way pre-COVID. These are all being, I don't know, embalmed in formalin.
The Maryland Anatomy Board, but that is a very good question. I can certainly ask.
Yeah, and I bet they would be screened for all sorts of other things as well. And certainly, I'm pretty sure they would be pre-COVID. But we can get a proper answer. This is actually a very interesting question. So we can get an answer from Dr. Rini and share that with you.
Thank you for asking that.
Mm-hmm. Other questions before we let you go?
Okay, I will, as I said, I will definitely need to contact some of you who are currently working at Hopkins, so I can get you on payroll. So I will be sending those emails to you individually. But we're very excited. I mean, we can't wait till things start, and really we're trying to handle the way the fall looks as normal as we possibly can. And if we get the okay to have things in, you know, more in-person classes, we will absolutely be on board for that. So I would love to go back to my office in Baltimore.
If you, also along those lines, if you are looking for someplace to live and you have questions about it besides the people in your class, Selena, who did the talk on Friday morning about the Baltimore and where to live, Selena is glad to help everybody. So you can email me if you have any questions about housing in Baltimore, and don't forget to tell them you're a Hopkins student. We will verify that if you need it.
Okay.
Thank you all for being here today. We will likely do this again.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. Nice to see you all.
Bye. Thank you.
Good. That was good. Don't you think?
Yes, that was.